Do you remember that time Dr. Robotnik had a giant robot? Okay, not that time. The other time. No, this time. Yes, this time when Eggman had a giant freaking Dr. Robotnik robot that looked like himself at the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I never got to this part, but I was aware of this as a kid, and I thought it looked super cool. And here it is in plastic form. And I do have to say, as a toy, it's really fun. But as a figure, well, they sacrificed a couple things for the sake of a gimmick. We'll talk about that. So it didn't come with this Dr. Robotnik. I just had him here for effect. This is the new Dr. Robotnik that's based off of the classic Dr. Robotnik. You know what I'm talking about. All of this is made by Jakks Pacific, and Jakks Pacific has been absolutely killing it with the Sonic the Hedgehog figures lately. I mean, I never would have expected that I would have plastic representations of classic Robotnik here with the big robot, and let's just bring in a classic looking Tails and Knuckles. Not Knuckles. Knuckles isn't out yet. I'll get Knuckles here soon, though. Classic Sonic and Tails. So you can just see right there. Yeah, that's really cool looking. I'm really digging this. So, like I said, he didn't come with these, but he did still come with a Sonic. This right here. This is a catapult of sorts. You're literally just flexing the plastic to shoot the Sonic at the robot. And I actually got a good aim there, but basically you're trying to aim the Sonic in a way where you can hit the chest. And it has a very similar gimmick to oh my gosh, it's back there. A similar gimmick to Battle Armor Skeletor and Battle Armor He-Man, where you hit the chest and it flicks battle damage, and if you get it to a certain point, it'll fall apart. It's pretty much what we're looking at here, and this is not easy to do. I have never once successfully done it. It's not very doable. It would have been cooler if it had like some sort of launcher that looked like the spring in the game. You're not even seeing me do this. Let's see if I can kind of get it a little lower. So yeah, it's I haven't gotten it successful one single time. I'm gonna fling this Sonic across my room. I'd like to get it once though. Come on, give it to me once. Whoa, I did it! Isn't that awesome? So yeah, basically, hypothetically, Sonic goes flying and it hits it and it's damaged. And if you hit it one more time after this, it gets stuck. No, it falls apart. Very dramatically. And it also reveals one final bit of damage. This is a cool feature because this is kind of how it went down in the game. Like, it's pretty cool that it totally collapses and falls apart. But like I showed you, it really sacrifices the figure itself for this. It's really unfortunate. So getting his chest back, all you do is just plug it back in. And I mean, they plug in good. They're nice and secure. It's not like the limbs are just going to fall out on their own. But unfortunately, you sacrifice the articulation. I've seen toys have this kind of gimmick, but you can still pose the figure. This is just really disappointing to me that you're sacrificing the shoulder articulation for the sake of the gimmick. I don't think it's worth it. And I mean, you still have elbow articulation, but because the shoulders are so loose, you bend the elbow and the shoulder goes back. See how it's kind of going back? You do have a gimmick with the hands, just like in the game. They shoot out. That's kind of neat. You know, just an extra little bit of firepower for the robot. And it does have this cool gimmick back here too, where you can slide the thrusters. I don't remember exactly how this works. Yeah, you just kind of slide them out. There you go. That's kind of cool. So it looks like he's thrusting. I think that's neat. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have too much articulation. You can move the head, which is kind of funny looking because the teeth still remain where they are. And the legs. You can move... Oh, there goes the arm. Yeah, if you, like, yank it out, it'll come out, but they won't just fall out on their own. The leg, it almost looks like it has a hinge there, but I have not been able to move that without it making a scary creaking noise. So just ignore that. You do have a bit of a knee, though, which isn't really too useful. Yeah, it's kind of at the end of the day. It's a cool-looking giant Eggman robot to have on your Sonic shelf. I mean, it's the robot from the Death Egg. It's really cool looking. It doesn't have anything going on when it comes to the features and all that, but it's a thing that exists. And I mean, you get this silly little catapult that's just going to go in my Sonic box. I'm never going to see the light of day. And you get a little Sonic, which is very small. It's even smaller than the 2.5 figures I feel like this is supposed to scale with. It's a pretty small little Sonic, but it's fully detailed. He's kind of rubbery too, so you can throw him around safely. I'm sure kids have already torn off his nose. Yeah, just a little Sonic in the ball. I think it's cute. Actually kind of useful for the collection. But I figured there wasn't much to talk about with this guy, so let's keep the Egg Robo goodness going with the Egg Robo. So I don't collect this larger scale of figures unless it's a character I feel like should be larger. And I know the Egg Robos were slightly larger than the, you know, Sonic and all them. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's get this. And at the end of the day, it's another bad guy to add to my Eggman collection. It's another Dr. Robotnik boy. So opening this up, you can see so far it's looking pretty cool. The reason I wanted to review these together is how similarly these guys appear from one another. I just think it's so kind of cute that it's like, this just looks like a small version of that, except it's generic and not exactly Dr. Robotnik. So I have to say, this figure is a lot nicer. I don't think the eyes move. It almost looks like they do, though, but I don't think they do. Wasn't this guy in Sonic 3? I'm pretty sure this was in Sonic 3. I have to say, this figure's a lot nicer than the Jazzwares one that I have. Aw, man. I feel like he's having a similar issue with his legs. There we go. I don't think he has knee articulation, though. It looks like he does, but I don't think he does. I think they actually... No way, he does. Does he? He should. Yeah, there we go. He's got knees. That's good. It almost looked like it was like totally hidden away. So yeah, he's a little creaky at first, but we're getting there. There we go. And he's got ankle hinges too. I do have to say the larger figures are pretty impressive, but I just don't think they're necessary with having Sonic and Knuckles and all of them in this size. Because, I mean, I wouldn't want a Sonic that's larger than the Egg Robo. That doesn't make any sense. You do get this big old gun. I don't think it does anything. It's just this big old gun. But we can get that in his hand. There we go. So he's got his big old gun, and his joints are strong enough to actually hold it up. Can he stand? He can stand! He can stand holding the gun. This is awesome. Oh my gosh. This is such a cool figure. I love it. So let's compare it with my 2.5 Sonic. So I think that's a pretty good scale right there. I don't remember exactly how big these guys were, but even if they were not supposed to be this big, I still like this scale a lot. I just feel like, you know, Eggman and his badniks and all that being larger than Sonic, like that's a good scale right there. You know, I think that's a very good scale. Because otherwise, the Sonic in this size is like this tall. That's incorrect. So I really like how there's different size classes of sorts with this toy line. Unfortunately, you know, they're making characters in the larger size that they're not doing in the 2.5 yet. I do believe Rouge the Bat or Rogue, I can never remember. I know that's like one of the most noob Sonic things. It's late at night, I'm sorry. Anyways, I believe she's getting a 2.5 inch, but she currently is only in the 4-inch line. Modern Amy Rose is only in the 4-inch line, but to be fair, you know, I think they're going to be remedying that here soon. They seem to be doing a pretty good job of keeping that consistent. And besides, there's not a ton of Sonic characters where they can keep playing the Black Series TVC game. Hopefully that won't be the case with this line. But still, I'm really surprised that I'm actually ending up with a very complete and comprehensive collection for Dr. Robotnik and his minions. I mean, look at that Egg Robo. That's a really good figure. The Mr. Robotnik, the Dr. Robotnik isn't as good because I feel like his stomach is very lightweight and it just kind of leaves him a little tipsy. But man, this Egg Robo is a really big surprise. I bought this a little bit ago and I didn't expect it to be this good. I seriously expected it to not have knee articulation just for the sake of not having knee articulation. These figures are only $10 too. I mean, this thing is leagues and bounds better than the Jazzwares one I have. I probably should have gotten it out to compare, but I don't, you know what, it's just trash. Don't even worry about it. This is where it's at, man. If you want an Egg Robo, if you want any Sonic the Hedgehog toys, go Jakks Pacific, man. Their stuff is just remarkable. This Egg Robo is super cool. This is actually one of my favorite Jakks Pacific Sonic figures. I genuinely think I can say that. Like, it's just so well made, so posable. Like, look at that. That's super cool. Alrighty, guys. I think I've talked long enough about some good old Sonic the Hedgehog goodness. Love this stuff. It's so great. I'm not sure if I can really recommend the big Death Egg robot. It's very cool, but it's not much of an action figure. It's mostly just a big display piece. But most of this line I can really recommend. The Egg Robo is excellent. The Dr. Robotnik's very nice. And the 2.5 scale, especially like the classic Tails and Sonic, and they're going to be doing Knuckles soon, which is really exciting. They're great. They're really great figures, and I can really recommend this. These are the best Sonic figures we've ever gotten. They truly are. I highly recommend them. Alrighty, guys. I think I've rambled off long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. Special shout out to the patrons at Patreon, as always. Thank you all so much for the continued support. Alrighty, guys. There we go. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.